Hola chicos y chicas, y bienvenidos a nuestra clase de español. Welcome to our Spanish class. Hoy vamos a hablar sobre algunos verbos en español. Today we're going to talk about some verbs in Spanish. We titled this section of the trimester as Las Actividades, or the activities, because verbs describe activities or actions that you do. La meta de la semana, the goal of the week, is for you to be able to say, I can describe things to do, actions, actividades, using verbs in Spanish. Before we get started with that, though, I wanted to show you some examples from some awesome submissions that I've received thus far with your final presentation. That's that Google slide presentation about your province in Argentina. Now remember, you were tasked with creating a digital brochure for your province in Argentina. That means, as with any travel brochure, you're suggesting things to do, activities being the big word here, because that means that you're going to start with a verb. Now your goal was to create or research and find 8 different activities that you would suggest to somebody visiting your province. In addition to that, you also had to list 5 cultural points of interest. That means you could list somebody that was famous from that area. You might list famous food from that province, or list other famous places that you didn't already mention in your suggested activities. For the examples that I'm showing you, the majority of them are going to be just one screenshot from the many that they submitted, and most of them are going to include the actividades, the activities that they suggested. But at the end, I'll also show an example where somebody listed different cultural pieces of information that they just felt were relevant. All right, so this first one comes from Lincoln, and he had the province of Misiones, Argentina. The activities, las actividades, that he suggested were visitar, visit, visitar las cataratas del Iguazú, visit the waterfalls of Iguazú, descubrir, discover, descubrir las ruinas de San Ignacio Mini, discover the ruins of San Ignacio Mini, the Jesuit ruins from that province. The third, and he had 8 in total, the third thing from this slide that he suggested was explorar, explore, explorar la ciudad de Oberá, explore the city of Oberá. Again, notice that each one of the activities that he suggested started with a verb. Muy bien, Lincoln. Otro ejemplo viene de Kai, and she had Salta, Argentina. Las actividades, the activities that she suggests, are pasear por la Plaza 9 de Julio. The verb phrase for this was pasear por, walk through or walk around. Walk around July 9th Plaza. July 9th is special for Argentina because that's when they declared their independence. Other example, explorar la ciudad de Salta. Starting with the verb explorar, explore, explore the city of Salta. Ver, see, ver los hermosos colores de la quebrada de la Huamuaca. See the beautiful colors of la quebrada de la Huamuaca. Otro ejemplo viene de Brooklyn. She had Mendoza, Argentina. Brooklyn did a great job with her brochure, and she spread out her different suggested activities. So this is just one screenshot from just one thing that she had in there, because I can't show the whole thing. One that she had was explorar, again using the verb explore. Explorar Cerro de la Gloria. Explore Gloria Hill or Glory Hill. Otro ejemplo viene de Wyatt. He had Chubut, Argentina. His actividades that he suggested were nadar, swim, nadar en el lago Puelo, surfear, surf, surfear en Cabo Raso, mirar, look at or watch, mirar los leones marinos en la península Valdés. Otro ejemplo viene de Vivi, and she had Santa Cruz, Argentina. Her suggested actividades were hacer una caminata, take a hike, a Chorrillo del Salto, ver, see, ver lago argentino, comer, eat, comer en Isabel Cocina al Disco. She's suggesting to eat at a certain restaurant. Ahora tenemos un ejemplo de Elliot. He had Rio Negro, Argentina. For his actividades, he suggests montar a caballo, ride a horse, montar a caballo en San Carlos de Bariloche, navegar, sail, navegar en San Carlos de Bariloche, visitar, using the verb visit, visitar la fábrica cerámica. Por fin, finally, I'm going to show an example from Noe. He had the province of Buenos Aires, Argentina. Now, our previous examples showed some of the activities that those students suggested to do. Remember, you need to have 8 activities in total. But in addition to that, you need to list 5 pieces of cultural information that are significant for your province. These ones don't have to start with a verb. You can just list things. Like I mentioned before, you can list famous people that came from that province, famous food, maybe a famous piece of historical information that you think is relevant. Or if nothing else, you can list famous places that you haven't already mentioned in your suggested activities. For his, he lists El Obelisco, a famous place, the obelisk. Puerto Madero is another thing that he suggests. Madero Port. So hopefully this gives you a few extra examples of how you should do your final draft, that is, your Google slide presentation. All right, let's go ahead and go on to the second portion of our lesson today. Now remember, before we reviewed actividades en el verano, activities in the summer, and you received a vocabulary list with a number of different verbs or verb phrases. Pescar is an example of a verb. Participar is another example of a verb. And a verb phrase could be participar en un campamento de arte. Quickly, we're going to go through and review them. I'm going to pause after saying the Spanish word just so you can practice the pronunciation, and then also try and say aloud what you think that translates to in English. ¿Listos? Ready? Acampar. Acampar significa to camp. Hacer una caminata. Hacer una caminata significa to take a hike or to do a hike. Ir de excursión, to go on a hike. Very similar to hacer una caminata. However, caminata and excursión can both mean to hike. It depends on which dialect of Spanish you're using. Ir a un campamento de deportes. Ir meaning to go. Campamento, camp. Deportes, sports. Ir a un campamento de deportes, to go to a sports camp. Ir en vacaciones. Again, ir being to go on vacation. Montar a caballo, to ride a horse. Montar, to ride. Caballo, horse. Montar a motocicleta, to ride a motorcycle. Nadar, to swim. Navegar, to sail. Participar en campamentos. Participar is a cognate, meaning that its English translation is very similar to its Spanish word. Participar en campamentos, participate in camps. Participar en un campamento de arte. Participate in an art camp. Pescar, to fish. Sacar fotos, to take photos. Viajar, travel. Visitar un monumento, to visit a monument. Okay, we also learned how to ask and answer this type of question. The question being, what do you like to do during the summer? ¿Qué te gusta hacer durante el verano? If you look at his thought bubble, what would he say in response? He might say something like, I like, me gusta, to camp. How do you say to camp in español? During the summer. Durante el verano. So if we're using this sentence structure, but filling in the blank with the activity, the verb to camp, do you think the correct translation would be, me gusta leer durante el verano? Me gusta escuchar durante el verano? Me gusta acampar durante el verano? ¿O me gusta navegar durante el verano? La respuesta es, me gusta acampar durante el verano. I like to camp, not I like to read, I like to listen, or I like to sail. But if you look at the picture and the translation, me gusta acampar durante el verano is the answer, es la respuesta. ¿Cómo se dice, what do you like to do during the summer? ¿Qué te gusta hacer durante el verano? What do you think he would say in response? Remember to use that sentence structure. I like to ride motorcycles during the summer. I like, me gusta. Now to ride motorcycles. Durante el verano. Would it be, me gusta montar a motocicletas durante el verano? Me gusta andar a motocicletas durante el verano. Me gusta montar a bicicletas durante el verano. O me gusta andar a bicicletas durante el verano. La respuesta: me gusta montar a motocicletas durante el verano. Dos ejemplos más, 2 more examples, and then I'll describe your assignment for the week. First, ¿cómo se dice, what do you like to do during the summer? ¿Qué te gusta hacer durante el verano? ¿Qué te gusta hacer durante el verano? What, ¿qué do you like, te gusta, to do, hacer, during, durante, el summer, verano? ¿Qué te gusta hacer durante el verano? Notice that verb to do, hacer. All right, how would he respond back to this question? ¿Qué te gusta hacer durante el verano? Using the picture as a clue, which of these would be the correct answer? Practice saying the response aloud. He would probably say, based off of his thought bubble, me gusta navegar durante el verano. I like to sail during the summer. How do you ask? What do you like to do during the summer? ¿Qué te gusta hacer durante el verano? What do you think he would say? Would it be, me gusta ir a un campamento durante el verano? Me gusta visitar fotos durante el verano? Me gusta sacar fotos durante el verano? O me gusta pescar fotos durante el verano? Definitely couldn't be this. Go to a camp. But these 3 all have fotos. Which one is to take photos? We know that visitar is a cognate. It looks a lot like the English word. Visit photos. I like to visit photos during the summer wouldn't quite make sense. So which would these be? La respuesta es, me gusta sacar fotos durante el verano. I like to take photos during the summer, not I like to fish photos. All right, last one. Again, how do you ask? What do you like to do during the summer? ¿Qué? What? ¿Te gusta hacer, to do, durante el verano? ¿Qué te gusta hacer durante el verano? Without any options, try and translate that whole thing on your own. I like to swim during the summer. La respuesta: me gusta Nadar durante el verano. Re bien. Ahora es tu turno. Your turn. Now, while researching your province, you learned many new verbs. Using your rough draft, send me a private message through the Google Classroom of a new verb that you learned that was not a part of our vocabulary list. Tell me the Spanish word and what you found was its English translation. Don't give me verbs that we went over that are in our vocab list. There are a ton that you guys learned by doing this project. Make sure to private message me what that verb is and what it means in English. Other than that, if you haven't already finished with your final draft or if you're still working on your rough draft, please make sure to work on that and submit that once you've finished, or email me with any questions that you might have. Es todo, chicos. Adiós.